Hey, I'm your host, Dr. Desiree Cassell. I'm an orthopedic and pelvic floor physical therapist specializing in women's health, aka pelvic floor. I'm a wife, mom of 3, foodie, lover of all things movement and nature, and I'm super passionate about educating, empowering, and supporting other women like you to find and maintain balance throughout all aspects of their lives, without pain, pressure, or peeing their pants. And this is the Balanced Momtality Podcast, where we will talk about all things pelvic floor, your core, and optimizing your pregnancy, birth, and postpartum recovery, providing you with the knowledge and tools so that you can feel like the strong, playful, and happy mom that you and your family deserve. Now let's get you out of those pads and back to loving movement. Fill up your water, pop in those AirPods, roll out your mat, and let's connect. Hey girl, it's your host, Dr. Des, and we are here with another episode on the Pelvic Floor Core and More show. I hope you caught last week's episode because we dove into what I feel like is the most important thing you can do in terms of healing your body, restoring your body, reconnecting, elevating your health, all of these goals that we have, getting stronger, getting thinner, getting more muscle, getting more energy, whatever it is, we then put this game plan of usually exercises to get us there, right? There's tasks, there's things we need to do to reach a certain goal for that health and wellness and especially physical physique. However, we can do all those check boxes, do all the things, and still not really get the results we want. And it's usually because we're not connecting. We're not intentional with how our body is showing up. We're not thinking about the right things when we're showing up to exercise. We're just putting our AirPods in, going through the motions, wondering what's next on our to-do, trying to escape and kind of use exercise as that, escape regulation, which it can be very regulating for the body. But if you're escaping and dissociating from your body when you're doing heavy body work, especially strength training and exercises that can honestly be damaging if you're not aware, then we are really missing the big bang for your buck. And so go check out that episode where I really highlight a lot more about what I care about and what I'm paying attention to versus choosing the right exercises. So definitely go check out last week's episode if you haven't. But I wanted to just start today by asking you a little bit about how you're connecting to your body when you're in pain. So this is another connection and awareness that we need to have throughout our exercise. And I touched on this last week, thinking about as you're going through movements, are we aware of our bracing? Are we aware of our breath? Are we aware if something hurts? Like, are we paying attention to that little twinge? Are we paying attention to the little muscle spasm or cramp or the pull? Or are we just powering through? And so I wanted to bring a little bit more light to pain today and how we're connecting and viewing that and how we're moving intentionally through periods or flares of pain. So with that being said, I just first want to say, what do you do when your body says, ouch, right? What are you doing? And this is what I really got inspired to do this episode, because this is another part of the breakdown in our thought process that I really see commonly working with women, right? There's a couple different ways we navigate pain. And I had a couple women last week tell me the story about, oh yeah, one woman I'm seeing her more regularly once a week. Another woman, it's every other month. We're spreading her care out. And both women told me this similar process of how they troubleshooted a flare. So they had some pain. Oh, my back hurt. I just did a lot of yard work. My back was hurting me. So then I took like a week off. I didn't really do much. I was trying to rest it. And then I had this other mom who was like, yeah, my back was a little twingy during the bridge, but I just pushed through. I really am trying to get stronger. I wasn't sure if that was good, but I just pushed through it because I figure I need to get stronger. And if this is hurting, it could be a good hurt. But then there's people that do just lay on the couch and rest, and they're wondering, well, if I do more, will it make it worse? And so should I stop my exercises or not? And so we tend to have two very different relationships with pain, where we're either terrified of it and completely stopping our exercises and quote unquote resting by laying on the couch. But hello, we're still usually walking around, picking things up, doing our normal day to day, but we're not doing the rehab moves that will help get you out of the pain. We're resting it too much, so then things are very stiff. Or we've been taught to completely ignore it, and we're just powering through and causing overuse injuries, chronic pain, and neither give us much opportunity to actually heal, let alone listen to how our body is trying to communicate, because pain is communication, but communication still needs an interpretation. We have to be aware and know what that pain means. That is really what we're diving into today. So, pain doesn't automatically mean damage, okay? Pain is real, but pain and damage aren't always the same thing. And this is where the opposite can be true as well. Sometimes pain is telling us something does need medical attention, and we do need to stop and get more imaging or get a better understanding of what is happening. And maybe we are overusing a muscle or a joint, or using it wrong and putting stress in a space that we truly do need to stop. And other times it's a simple shift. It's being aware of the pain and adjusting and shifting and seeing how it responds to that shift. So the goal isn't to ignore the pain. It's to stop treating every pain signal the exact same way, because they're not all telling you the same thing. And so when you have pain, instead of thinking, oh, is pain bad? No, I more want you to ask a better question. So instead, when something hurts, we're getting curious. We're becoming little detectives. What does it feel like? Is the pain sharp? Is it achy? Is it burning, pulling? Is it a pressure? Is it soreness? Does it feel like muscle? Does it feel like joint? These help us better understand what could be causing the pain, and therefore, where do we go with it? Do we slow things down? Do we modify? Or do we truly push through? Then does it change, right? When does it happen? And is it changing through your exercise? Is it immediately as you start the exercise? Is it during the exercise? Is it immediately after? Is it hours later? Is it the next day? Is it 2 days later, right? There is delayed onset muscle soreness. So those of us that work out regularly, we're aware of this. We know that on day 2, sometimes it sucks more than day 1. And that could be, interpreted as relatively a normal ache and pain, right? It's a normal muscle soreness. But even that can give us some signals as to maybe we pushed it a little too hard. And we'll dive into that in a minute. But also we want to understand and dive into, can I change this pain, right? What if I brace differently? What if I breathe differently? What if I change the range of motion? What if I slow things down? What if I take weight away, right? We're adjusting. And this is what I talked about in last week's episode, in how we dive in and listen. How are we listening? Do we know how to interpret what it's saying? Are we adjusting and then evaluating? So this is our adjustment. Are we breathing differently, changing range, reducing load, blah, blah, blah. And then we're aware. Did that change? And if so, how long did it change? Did it last? Or did it show up on set 3 instead of set 1? Does it settle quickly as you go through, right? And so this is where, for me, if you're starting an exercise and it feels a little uncomfortable, maybe it's a little tight, maybe even a little sharp, maybe a little achy, but as you do it, it's settling. To me, that's a good sign. We're warming things up. We're bringing circulation. Keep going. But if it continues escalating, that pulling becomes sharp. That sharpness becomes very sharp and it radiates. This is where I would stop and reassess so that you can really see and not push through. Because if something's escalating, it's not a good sign, right? We don't want to push through that. But maybe you have no pain through exercise and it's showing up more after the fact. Then yeah, it could be you had too heavy of a load that day. Maybe you want to try less volume. So maybe you even just did too many exercises. Maybe it was one exercise specifically. And yes, pain science can get very complex, and that's why there's people like me here to help you navigate that and not just power through, but also not just throw everything up in the air when you have a flare waiting for it to all calm back down. And so we do just want to kind of assess and become aware and listen and start to notice, what does the pain feel like? Because if it is radiating, feels like tingling, numbing, burning, radiating pain, that's a little bit more worrisome for me. Sharpness, this is a little more worrisome, but it's not always like a stop immediately, right? Again, try a few reps, but if it's not calming down, and especially if it's getting worse, then we are stopping. This is not something that you want to push through, because it could be nerve pain. And man, when nerves get angry and damaged, they can stay pissed for a long time. So we definitely don't want to push through that kind of pain. Whereas if it's just a little tightness, it's a little muscle soreness, it's a little achy, and as you go, it's warming up, it's getting better, yes, that is a great sign. But we also really want to just be aware, is this familiar pain? Is this completely new pain? And importantly, is anything else happening with it that concerns me, right? Like, am I getting pain and also feeling a twinge in my butt? Am I feeling some sharpness that's also radiating down my leg, right? Am I having this pain and also feeling movement in my spine, which tells me, oh, I'm not very stable. No wonder I'm having pain. What if I rebrace, decrease the load a little bit? Now when I do it again, is the pain still there? No. Is the rocking and motion in my back still there? No. Cool. So you troubleshooted it. You just needed a little bit more of a brace. Or maybe you're braced, but you realize, oh, I'm holding my breath. So then you change your breath and you realize, yes, now I'm breathing right. Oh, the pain is still there. Yeah, probably a good sign to stop. And sometimes it is just that we have a tight muscle that we might need to release and work on before the exercise. So especially if you're getting into an exercise and your muscle is sore, keep doing a few. Lactic acid needs to get pumped out. But again, if that isn't getting better and that starts to cramp and become an angry Charlie horse or a muscle cramp, that's where we troubleshoot with a little release work. What if we do a little foam rolling or roll a lacrosse ball against the wall into our glute a little bit, then try the exercise? Oh, what do you know? Now that cramping is gone. Awesome, then we can keep doing it. But if you go to do that exercise and you're like, nope, still cramping pretty bad, then that's where I would get some help, because maybe we need to modify the position for you. Maybe there's some accessory muscles that need some work before we work on that big hip muscle. So really, we don't just want to rate your pain and get a, where are we at out of 10? No, it's really getting curious about its behavior. Is it responding to rest? Is rest making it worse or better? Is exercise making it worse or better? What positions are making it worse or better? What exercises are making it worse or better? This is all helpful, especially once you get in to see a PT, so that we can help you navigate that better, because you listened and you took the time to understand that pain story that your body is trying to tell you. So I want you to kind of start thinking about pain in this like stoplight scenario. So green, yellow, red. Okay. This helps you get a little bit more practical structure around your pain without having it be like a yes, we do this, no, we stop because we had pain kind of scenario. So green light is, my body seems to be okay with this and I'm going to keep going. So maybe there is a little bit of effort, a little straining, maybe there's a little tension or stretching or pulling or muscle soreness or a little fatigue, right? But again, we can tell like, oh yeah, maybe my joint's a little stiff, maybe my muscle's a little achy, but your body is settling as you're doing the workout. It's feeling softer. It's calming down as you go. This is where I would feel confident to continue and proceed. However, a yellow light means my body wants a little attention here. So this is where something just feels uncomfortable, or maybe your symptoms change, or you're just a little more unsure, right? This is where maybe you leak a little bit. Maybe you have a little bit of sharpness in your SI joint. I don't want you to panic. Instead, we're going to pause. We're going to notice, when do I feel this pain? We're going to modify. Maybe we're going to change the range of motion. So maybe we're not going into a full height of the bridge, right? Maybe you feel a little back twinge at the top of your bridge. Then we're not going that high. Can we reduce the range? Does it go away? Cool. Maybe we had 30 pounds on our bridge and we need to take 20 away. Does that pinch at the top go away? If it does, awesome, right? Maybe it is just a simple adjustment. Maybe we're going too fast. Maybe we notice, oh, the movement is coming into my back at the top of the bridge. No wonder I'm having some pain because my brace isn't holding me at the top and I'm extending into my spine. So then we just need to pay more attention into our bracing. So sometimes in this yellow phase, it's a little troubleshooting. We're working some things out. We're modifying, taking weight away, not going as high, adjusting the position, looking at our breath and brace, trying it again, reassess what happens, right? What changed? This is where the connection becomes the most useful, because then you'll get the feedback of, oh, look at that. The pain went away. I just needed to reduce a little weight. Or, oh, I just needed to pay attention with my breath or my brace. Pain's gone. Or, nope, it's still there. This isn't feeling good. That's when we want to get a little bit more help. Whereas a red light, we need a lot of attention, right? So if it's new pain or severe pain, it's rapidly worsening as you're working out or doing something, it's starting to radiate, it's starting to get sharp, maybe it's a significant trauma, right? You fall and break your wrist, or you fall and land on your wrist and you're unsure, my wrist hurts, do I keep going, right? Well, if you just fell on it and it's hurting pretty bad, probably not. I would probably ice it and rest it a little bit and get some rehab help. But if it is especially like concerning neurological or systemic symptoms, like maybe rapid heart rate or pins and needles, tingling, shooting, radiating pain, things where we're feeling pain in multiple parts of our body, this is something where it can be a little bit more complex and where you might want to get some medical screening or see a PT so that you can get more of a individualized plan and maybe even get further screening or imaging done to make sure there's no true ligament or joint or soft tissue or bone injury, so that you're not just doing this DIY experiment and getting frustrated because the pain isn't going away. So with these red light symptoms, I would stop and seek appropriate professional medical evaluation so that you don't need to feel like you're just going around in circles and the pain is still there. If the pain is still there and you've tried to modify and adjust and listen to your body and give it a little attention and you're still not seeing any progress, then that is when we need to seek help. So even if it's not red light symptoms, but maybe it's a red light symptom and it's just not changing, like you're modifying it, it changes a little bit, but then you're still just as sore, the pain's still there, and you're just in this cycle of modifying and assessing, and you're just feeling like you're going back to square one and you're not progressing at all, then even there I would get some help. So with that, I want to also bring a little light to, like, because I do have a lot of patients, and as women, we do tend to just push through. And sometimes, yes, I don't want to create a lot of weenie babies that are like, oh, there's a pain, there's a signal, we need to stop everything and listen, what's happening? Yes, listen, but we don't need to become hyper vigilant as well. So when do we push through, and what about pushing through? Because this is where a lot of women fall, right? It's like, well, no, I am just going to push through. Sorry, you're hearing my alarm in the background. Forgot to shut that bad boy off, but we're not restarting because we're just going to power through here. But with that being said, pushing through can cause more injury, right? But sometimes we do need a little bit of a challenge to get stronger. So yes, stronger does require a challenge, but we're not pushing through pain. Muscle discomfort and muscle soreness is different, and it isn't automatically dangerous, and discomfort isn't automatically dangerous, right? Because exercise can be hard, muscles fatigue, bodies get sore, and rehab sometimes challenges sensitive areas, so we are going to have a little bit of flare. However, we're not just running away from pain, and we're also not never doing anything uncomfortable. So there is a difference between challenging your body and ignoring your body. And so if it does feel like muscle soreness, if we're pushing through muscle fatigue, that is different. And if on day 1, day 2, you're back sore, but we're like, yeah, I did do heavier weight and it's not limiting my functional capacity, I just feel a little soreness. That's just your body saying, hey friend, we need a little attention. We need a little more breath work. We need a little soft tissue work. We need some water, some protein, some rest. But we're not going to stop exercising. However, if we're exercising and that soreness is lasting a week, or you can barely walk during those 3 days, that's where I'd say scale it back a little bit, because even muscle soreness can be a sign that we just pushed through too much and we're not listening to our body's capacity. So normal soreness should only last a day or 2, and it shouldn't change your ability to walk, clean, exercise, do the things. Yeah, you might be a little sore during it, but it doesn't mean you're going, oh God, I'm not doing my walk today because I can barely walk as is. No, that's where I would say you need to scale back your exercise and adjust. And then again, reassess after that exercise. Is it only a day or 2 soreness? Yes. Awesome. That was a good adjustment. Or no, still super sore. Then, my friend, we really do want to look at, are we sleeping well? Are we fueling well? Are we looking at release work? Are we doing too much? But again, that's where I come in. And so I really just want you guys to understand that pain is a conversation, and we do need to start to understand that language. And so if it's burning, shooting, tingling, this could be this could be nerve pain. This could also be some circulation issues. But either way, these are more concerning signs. If it's radiating anywhere, if it's not calming down after a day or 2. And again, sometimes even if it is like some muscle soreness or even some sharp pain or whatever, don't just stop. This is where, yeah, you tweaked your back, you did too much yard work or whatever it is, or you worked out too hard and your back was sore for longer than a couple days, so you felt you had to rest. Yes, rest, but let me tell you, things like cat-cow, child's pose, happy baby, gentle stretching, and even gentle engagement and stability like a core march or dead bugs or bridges. These are all gentle ways to activate the system in a way that will tell the body, hey, use these muscles to stabilize and support us. Don't hang on to these back muscles all day. Don't clench our pelvic floor all day because we have these other muscles to support. But if you go to try those exercises and they hurt, again, it doesn't mean don't do them, but scale it back. What if you don't bridge as high? What if you just engage the glutes like you're going to lift? What if you don't lift your legs super high with the march, but we're just intentionally bracing and trying to bring stability? So scale it back to where it feels good. Don't stop everything, because this can be where we get too much tightness. We've rested too long on the couch. Now we go to get up and our back's extra stiff and hurts even more. So bring gentle motion and movement and breath into your body, especially when things are hurting, because that will help you calm things down and feel more confident when you do try to get back into those exercises on a normal level. However, I don't care about the perfect exercise, as you know. I care about what your body is doing during it. And that is what we touched on last week. But this week, I want you to just dive in a little deeper to pain as one of those things that your body is trying to communicate to you. And that connection allows you to notice, and that awareness allows you to respond. Then we can modify. And that experience of modifying and observing how things change starts to help teach you what your body tolerates, what it likes, what helps get it out of pain, and then eventually that does build trust in your body. So listening to your body doesn't always mean stopping, and it also doesn't mean pushing through. Sometimes it just means adjusting, sometimes it means resting, sometimes it means more release work or breath, sometimes it means asking for help, and sometimes it means realizing, I'm okay. I'm actually good and I can keep going. So for today, I want you to just try one thing. So the next time you experience discomfort or pain during your movement or exercise, instead of immediately asking, oh no, is this bad? Just start to observe. What is my body asking me to notice right now? And then actually pause, go through the repetition, notice, adjust, and reassess. That is enough, and that is the work. That means you're not just showing up and checking boxes. It means you are listening and becoming aware and connecting and modifying when our body needs it. So we might say, yes, I notice a little pain. Am I bracing well? Am I breathing well? Am I thinking of my breath through the right phase? Is my alignment and motor control happening as it should? Where do I feel this pain in the range? Does it go away, right? And then obviously, I am here for you. And if you've listened to the last few episodes, you've probably noticed a theme. I want you to stop feeling like you need someone else to hand you the perfect exercise and the perfect routine to stop leaking and heal your core, and start to actually understand the body you're living in. And that is a huge reason I'm creating Healing Beyond Kegels. Our pelvic floor symptoms aren't random problems that we just want to throw Kegels and different exercises at. They are information, whether it's leaking, pressure, pain, pins and needles, tingling, numbness, twitching, clicking, right? And when we understand things like breath and bracing and pressure management, movement, strength, stress, and how the whole body works together, we can start to make much more intentional decisions about what our body needs. And so Healing Beyond Kegels is coming soon, and I cannot wait to help you connect some of these dots. So stay tuned, download Pelvic Floor Core and More if you haven't, because that is my free app where Healing Beyond Kegels will live, and I will keep teasing this out. My plan is to launch Healing Beyond Kegels in October, so it is coming soon, my friends, and there's still time. I'm building it out, so if there's anything specific you're hoping to get out of this free masterclass, please let me know. Everything is in the show notes below, and can't wait to keep connecting with you here on the Pelvic Floor Core and More show.
Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day. I know you've got so many other important things going on, but I hope it was helpful and you leave here with some tools to help you in your healing journey. And I just want to ask you, if you have found this helpful, to please leave a review on iTunes. Scroll down to the bottom of my podcast page and leave that 5-star review so it can help other women see this information. And also, if you want to be a part of my community of amazing women trying to balance all the things, great tips and insight and sharing stories and just motivating each other along the way, feel free to join my Facebook group, The Balanced Momtality Wellness and Support. I hope to see you here next time on the Balanced Momtality Podcast.